So have you heard the term mulching when it comes to lawn care and wondered what it is? In this video, I'm going to explain what mulching is and most importantly, what a mulching lawnmower is and how you can tell the difference between a mulching lawnmower and just a regular lawnmower. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're in the garden again. It is the 1st of October today and we are going to be talking about everything to do with mulching. So if you're not sure what mulching is, basically mulching is the process of getting your lawn clippings and breaking them down, leaving them on the lawn. So the idea of mulching is there's a lot of really valuable nutrients in your grass. So when you cut your lawn, and usually if you bag the clippings, what you're doing is you're losing a lot of that nutrients. Obviously they're going in your waste bin, where the process of mulching is leaving those cuttings on the lawn. They will break down and all those nutrients will go back into the soil. So it's a really good healthy thing to do for your lawn. The thing is, when people do this, usually they will use a standard lawnmower and just take the bag off, and that's fine, there's no problem at all to do that. But the issue you do have is the grass cuttings are usually quite long. So what happens is you get left with all these long grass cuttings and they take quite a long time to break down. And then most of them, to be honest, won't break down fully, and that's when you start building up a lot of thatch issues. So thatch is where you get all that dead organic matter that lies beneath the grass and the soil, so water and nutrients can't get to the soil so easily. So that's generally a problem. So leaving your grass cuttings on the lawn, yes, it's a good idea, but if they're too long, then it can cause problems, like I say, sort of breaking down, and you're not really getting the full benefit. Now, mulching is the process of taking those cuttings and literally cutting them down so fine that they break into the soil, go right between the grass, and then they basically break down nice and easily, and obviously you're getting the most of those nutrients. So how do you mulch your lawn? Well, ideally you need a mulching lawnmower. And what's the difference between a mulching lawnmower and a standard lawnmower? It's exactly what I just explained. What a mulching lawnmower does is it takes those grass cuttings, and instead of just cutting it and then leaving it on the lawn, it will sort of cut the grass cuttings, it will suck them back up into the lawnmower and throw them multiple times through the blade and then spray it back onto the lawn. So what you get is, you know, when you take your box off your lawnmower, you cut it and you leave your grass cuttings on, it leaves quite a mess, doesn't it? Well, when you're mulching, that you can't really see it. It leaves a nice finish because those cuttings are so tiny that they've broken down to the lawn. So you're still getting the benefit of leaving those cuttings on there, but it's not leaving the mess. And like I say, because it can then break down easier, it stops issues like thatch and things like that. So what to look for in a mulching lawnmower? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Back in the spring, so a few months ago, I decided to treat myself to a new lawnmower. So typically I use a cylinder mower, and that's because, like a lot of lawn care enthusiasts, I love my lawn stripes. So in the 8 years that we've had this lawn, I have always used a cylinder mower because I love to get my stripes. Now, the issue I was finding is, naturally, after the winter period, obviously when your grass is really long, those kind of mowers are really difficult to obviously cut the lawn, because what happens is the ground is a bit sludgy and the lawnmower kind of ends up sliding everywhere and you don't really get a nice cut. So what I done was I went out and got myself a nice new rotary mower. So I could basically, when the grass is really long, I could use that going into the season, and then when in the height of the season, when the grass is growing and I'm doing regular cutting through the summer, I can then use the cylinder one to get those nice stripes. And actually, I fell in love with this rotary mower. I absolutely love it. One of the things I didn't realise, I didn't even know what mulching was. Once I got it home, unboxed it, and then looked through the instructions, it had something called a mulching plug on it. I started to read up about that and went through a few websites, and then obviously learned a little bit about what mulching is, because I always used to leave the cuttings on the lawn, but it did leave quite a lot of mess, but I didn't really know another way of doing it. So I thought, well, do you know what, I'm going to do a video for you all and just show you what I've learned, in case there's people out there like me who've never heard of it and never seen the benefits of it. So I'm going to show you how to do it. What I'll do, I've got my lawnmower here, so I'm going to show you what I've got. I'll put a link in the description as well to the lawnmower I'm using. I recommend it because I just find it a really good mower. But what I'll do is I'll take you through how to look for a mulching mower and the difference between a standard mower, as I say, and a mulching mower. So this is the mower that I treated myself to, and I love it because it's actually very lightweight. And it says, that you can see at the bottom there, it says easy edge, and what this lawnmower actually does is it goes right to the edge of the lawn as well, which means you don't have to use the strimmer as much, as other lawnmowers I've tested. So if you're in the market looking for a lawnmower that can do mulching, then this is one I highly recommend. As I say, I'll put a link down the bottom, but I'll just show you the difference. So the first thing is, when you actually take the box off this, you'll see down inside there's a little plug. So if I pop this out, this here, take this out here. Now this is the thing, this is it here. So this is what they call a mulching plug. And what it does is, if you look inside, obviously that's where the cuttings will naturally come out and go in the box. And obviously you can take the bag or the box off the back and those cuttings will go onto the lawn. By putting this in here, this mulching plug, what it does is it stops those cuttings from being spat out of the lawnmower. So when the rotary is going round, it obviously throws the cuttings out of that hole, and then what this plug does, as you can see here with this sort of grass, this dried grass I've got in, it pushes that, it sort of bounces off that, pushes it back into the lawnmower and then back into the blade, which obviously creates that effect where it sort of multi-cuts it. But I'll flip the lawnmower over so you can see, and I'll show you from underneath how that works. So this is the underside of the mower, just to show you how it works. Obviously it's a rotary mower, so this blade will obviously go round and cut the grass like it normally would do. And then what you've got under here, if you see, you've kind of got a hole that goes into the box or the bag. So obviously any grass cuttings will go round, pushes into there, and obviously goes into your bag. What the mulching plug does, if we slide that in, and you can see once that clips into place, what it does is it keeps the grass going round. So obviously as it goes round, instead of it going into that hole, this plug is now cleverly angled so it pushes the grass back round. And then if you look at this blade actually has like curved edges. See those curved edges there? That's really the difference between a normal blade and a mulching blade. So what it does is, as that grass goes round, this blade, it's catching it and it's pushing it back up, and then basically a multi-cutting. So imagine it's spinning around super fast, obviously cutting it multiple times, and then naturally it will fall back through the blade and onto the grass. And generally, yeah, that's the difference there with obviously between a normal mower and a mulching mower. So you'll get this mulching plug. This is a great mower because what it enables you to do is you can take the mulching plug out for a normal cut, put that mulching plug in, and then you can do a mulch cut, which we're obviously going to do today. But what I will say is, with mulching, one thing to be aware of with your grass. Now, my advice is not to try and mulch your lawn when the grass is too long. The issue you've got when your grass is too long is that those cuttings may still leave a lot of mess on the lawn, and even though they're quite small, if there is a lot of those cuttings, then again you're putting a high risk of building that thatch layer up, and we don't want to be doing that. So we want to be able to mulch the lawn when we are cutting regularly. Now this lawn at the moment, like I say, it's the 1st of October, and I was cutting this lawn twice a week. I've now dropped it down to once a week because the growth has started to slow. I will admit this is a little bit longer than normal for me to do mulching, but I think it's okay. I feel that I can get away with that today, so we'll obviously give it a go. Now, one of the things that is worth doing with mulching is the perfect time to do it is after you've done a feed. So last week I did a liquid feed on the lawn, and obviously it's been a week now where obviously that liquid feed's been sitting on those grass blades, and it's the perfect time. Once you do your next cut after doing a liquid feed, it is always advisable to try and do mulching if you can, because obviously all of that nutrients from the fertilizer is on those grass clippings, and obviously we don't want to waste that. We don't want to be throwing it away. We want to get it back into the soil if we can do. So that's why I ideally want to do it. Now, like I say, it's a little bit longer than I usually leave it. So usually if it was this length, I would prefer to sort of keep the box on, but because I've got that fertilizer on there, I am going to give it a go today. But what I need to do is I need to make sure that I'm going over it nice and slowly. So obviously you typically, when you're mulching, you will cut you'll walk over the lawn and do the cutting a lot slower than you would usually, because you want to really make sure those cuttings are continuously being sucked up, cut in multiple directions, pushed down, sucked up, as fine as you can go. So we don't want to be whizzing over the lawn quickly. We want to do it at a nice slow pace, and if I take it nice and slow, even though there's quite a lot of grass here, I think this will work quite well. Now, one thing I will mention before I get started as well, the other week I did a 3-month dry feed on the lawn, and I had a bit of an issue with the spreader. The catch on my spreader is not as good as it used to be. It accidentally opened extra wide, which meant a lot of the feed went onto the lawn a bit thick in areas, and unfortunately it's ended up creating some burn patches in the lawn. So I'm going to have to do an overseed. Now we're in the autumn, so sort of within the next couple of weeks I'm going to be doing an autumn overseed anyway, so it's not too bad. I'm going to have to reseed some of those patches, and in fact, you know, that's another excuse to do another video, because I'll do a video of overseed and just show you how I'm dealing with those. But I thought I'd just point that out before I start. You might not be able to see it right now, but once I start cutting, you might wonder why all those patches are on the lawn. So yeah, fertilizer burn, very easy thing to do. I'm pretty good with fertilizer. It's the first time that that's ever happened, and it's just a fault with the spreader, so I might be having to treat myself to a new spreader soon. To show you, so again, what we've done is, there it is, you can see in there, sorry the sun's in an awkward position today, but yeah, that plug basically is in there, which basically just stops those grass cuttings come out. So actually we don't need the box or the bag on the back. It means I can keep that closed and none of the grass will come out here, because what it'll do, it push it back into here where the blade will catch it and just keep spinning, and then it'll naturally fall on the lawn. So I'll put this up, get the battery inside, and then cut it, and then once it's cut I'll be able to show you the final result. Okay, so that's the grass cut. Let's have a look. I'll show you what it's actually done. So if we go over to a patch here, and we can see actually some of the cuttings in some of the areas. If you look at this, there are some cuttings here on the lawn top. So because obviously this grass was quite long, we are at risk that we're still going to get cuttings like this, which is fine. And usually, obviously, if you've got a non-mulching lawnmower, this is the kind of thing you're going to get. But because we have got a mulching lawnmower, I really want to try and break these down as much as possible. So in areas like this where it's clumped here, I'm just going to go back over it again. It is always worth going over it. But if we go to some areas over here, I notice that if you look down here, for example, if you look at this, look up closely, this is really good. The cuttings actually have broken down and they've gone to the bottom of the soil. You probably can't see it all in the video. If you think actually, if I had a non-mulching lawnmower and I was to do that without a mulching plug or anything, then obviously it's going to leave quite a bit of mess. And obviously this was quite long, this lawn, and so we were at risk obviously of making quite a mess. With a mulching lawnmower, as you can see, it's actually really good. It keeps it nice and tidy. Like I say, because it's a bit longer than normal, obviously I've got some clumps now and there sort of spread on the lawn. I'm just having a look, so I'm going to go back over it again just very quickly just to do it. But generally, yeah, as you can see, nice and tidy. Does a great job there. So obviously all that nutrients that are on those grass blades hasn't been wasted. It's not in the bag, it's not in the box, it's not going in the bin, it's gone straight on the lawn. So I'm just going to give it another pass as well, just to really grind those sort of chunks down, and that should be it. Okay, so there you have it, guys, all done. That's all cut nicely. Because we're going into, or we will be going into, the winter pretty soon, before long it'll be here, I've started to take the mower up a notch. So I've always been cutting it throughout the summer and obviously up to this period on the lowest setting, because I do, like most lawn nuts, I do like the grass to be as short as possible. But as I say, it's 1st of October today. So what we're now going to find is, obviously we've got some nice sun today, but as you can see, there's a lot of shade coming into this lawn now. And usually I get full sun on this lawn, so it's starting to get shaded, so the growth is starting to slow. So now's the time to just start gradually increasing the height on that mower. But yeah, perfect for today, because obviously it was quite long anyway for mulching, and it's done a really good job. If you look down here, you know, like I say, excuse some of the yellow patches from my fertilizer burn, which I'll be addressing in another video when I do our sort of autumn overseed. But actually, yeah, done a pretty good job. It's nice and clean. And as you know, I mean, we've got kids, we've also got a dog, so you know, usually if you're leaving cuttings on the lawn, they troops in the house and it's a right mess, where obviously with this, you know, that won't happen. So yeah, I'm really pleased with today. That's done a really good job. So yeah, hopefully you found this one helpful. And like I say, I'm quite new to mulching, so this video really is for someone like me if you're just trying to sort of pick up the basics. And I found actually, yeah, it's really good. Once you've got the right mower, it does quite a nice job. So I'll put a link, as I say, in the description to the mower I'm using. You don't have to use that one, obviously, but at least you can see the difference now, what a mulching mower does compared to a standard mower. So if you are looking to take your lawn care to the next level, definitely worth purchasing one, because I found it fantastic. Like I say, the mower I was using before just wasn't ideal. It's leaving grass cuttings everywhere, a bit of a mess, and then the thatch starts building up. So much better way to go. But like I say, hopefully this has been helpful. If you have found it useful, do remember to like this video and obviously subscribe as well, and then obviously for more videos. And what I'll do, I'll check you in the next one.